Yeah, let's pontificate. Let's do some pontification tonight. Yeah, we got a doozy for you guys. There's been some hanky panky going on with distribution with Diamond, and we're gonna do a deep dive as the pontificators always do, and we'll get down to it. Let's get down to business. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys heard, but Diamond Distribution have filed Chapter 11. So we'll get a little deeper into that and kind of explore it. And always, you guys remember the chat. Ask us questions, interact. It's all good. Yeah, and we can keep it going that way. And you know what? I'm gonna get the guys in here soon and see what they think of this. All right. I was going through some stuff, and guess what these are? These are screen-used Jurassic Park pamphlets from the first movie. And so it's just like the one in the movie. And they're pretty cool. So I got 3 of them. And just before the show, I did a deep dive and looked into how much they're worth, and you won't believe it. You will never believe it. We got One Slick Dude. Greetings. Hey Art, what's up? We got whoever this guy is. Hell chat. Get tuned in. Ignition. Never heard of the guy. But you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna get the guys in here, and then I'm gonna do a jump and see what this thing's worth. This Jurassic Park brochure. So we got Pedro Ang. What is up? It's
yeah, you showed that, and my man just went like, yeah, dude, that's my favorite Jurassic Park. Actually, the first one. The other one just felt like we need another Jurassic Park movie. You know what I mean? It was like, what can we do in this island again? But the first one is just like a complete story, and I loved it for that. So yeah, that's a nice piece of history you got there. Awesome.
Yeah, and I got 3 of them.
Wow.
I don't know how I got them. I was trying to remember, like, how did I get these things? Yeah,
that sounds dangerous.
Like, I have some little like props like that from Batman Returns.
Okay.
Like the elect Cobblepot pins.
Oh yeah.
And like the little like paraphernalia that they were using, because I think he was running for mayor or some kind of craziness like that.
Yeah.
So I got some buttons.
Who was the creepiest character in that movie to you in Batman Returns?
I mean, Cobblepot was pretty creepy, but do you think it was that Max Schreck?
It was whatever.
Oh, his little gay assistant?
Christopher Walken, whatever character he played, that was freaking creepy.
Yeah, that was Schreck. Yeah, I think his name was, his last name was Schreck, because he had the department store, Schreck's or something. Yeah.
That was just, ugh.
And Catwoman blew it up. Yeah, I think it was the tacky wig. It had like some kind of weird hair or something. Yeah. It kind of looked like Gavin Newsom's.
Wow. Yes, he did.
Maybe Shrek or whatever his name is Gavin Newsom. Well, let's get. Well, I'm going to invite Todd in, and then you can continue. Hey, Todd, what's up?
What's going on?
What's up, Todd?
Can you hold that pamphlet up again? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That movie did like capture this imagination, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like it had this sort of magical appeal, and the music and stuff. It all really worked really well. It made me feel
I like that there's advertisements for like the T-shirts and the restaurants. It's like a Disney map. Like you can, it's got the restaurants. And it's got like the hours you can make a reservation. All kinds of stuff. It's pretty cool. Let me read this.
Don't you agree with me, Todd, that the other movies didn't capture that what the first one had?
No, they didn't lean into the majesty of the animals.
Yeah.
They leaned into the peril, like damsel in distress or male in distress, you know.
And jump scare. It was more like a jump scare movie, more so than like, my God, that's a brontosaurus, dude.
Well, the inside says they're back. The original Bigfoots, some of the most awesome creatures ever to walk the earth. Astounding biotech advances have brought these breathtaking behemoths back to life. Extinct for eons, hundreds of untamed titans have been unleashed to roam the world's most wondrous animal preserve. ... Man and dinosaur together. Jurassic Park, the most incredible theme park of all time. See real dinosaurs at play. Watch them roam through acres of meticulously recreated jungle habitats. Jurassic Park, a mysterious island shrouded in fog, located off the coast of Costa Rica. This biological preserve holds attractions that will send kids out of their minds with Jurassic Park makes the dark continent look like a petting zoo. And then on the back, there's the operation hours.
Yeah.
And it says operating hours, summer 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., non-summer 9 a.m. And then it says general information. Admission prices cover a full day of adventure, including island tour, river ride, and all shows and attractions. To enjoy all of the rides, shows, restaurants, and shops, we strongly should suggest you plan to spend at least 6 to 8 hours in Jurassic Park. Open daily except Christmas.
Did you guys know that the second book was so different than the second movie? It was really where they stuck all the mistakes. So you have malformed dinosaurs and dinosaurs with like special needs dinosaurs.
Wow. Uh-oh.
we got
wow.
Doing some knuckle work.
I've been sick for a little bit, so.
Well, it's good to have you. We don't have Bob today. He was going to come in, but he wasn't feeling good either.
I'm fighting through it.
It's the time of year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold and flu season, and I'm knee deep in the cold and flu season right now.
Yeah, you're knee deep in the cold period.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think
Bob was saying the other day it was below 4. What the fuck?
Oh Jesus.
No, I think in the next 3
minus
days,
4.
Yeah, the next 3 days, the high for the day is -9. That's the high. So yeah, we're and I mean, and it's nothing new. Is January and February you get a week to 2 weeks where it's like -20 overnight. It's just the way it is. So
my tropical brain cannot fathom that, sir.
The only way to survive, Pedro, is to just drink through it. But don't slip on the ice and fall and hit your head because you'll freeze to death and die in under 5 minutes.
And if you guys want to see some funny ass videos, just type that in and you'll see all kinds of people slipping down their driveway. But real quick, just to wrap this up, how much do you think this thing's worth?
$400.
How much?
I'm gonna say 450.
Ooh.
How much, Clint? This
Clint,
I think the end of it is it an actual like a
prop?
Yeah,
it's not screen used though. I don't know how I got these.
It's the actual flyer for the movie. Like if you were like gonna go there and pretend in the movie. Oh man,
well, they use these in the movie. Do you remember like the first one?
Yeah.
And just for the record, I got 3 of them here.
I'm so bad with collectibles, but they're probably not. They're not. There's not a lot of them floating out there. Oh boy!
Come on, we're playing Price is Right. Let's go.
So we got 400. We got 450. Clint, higher.
I would go $200 maybe a pop, and then see what they go on eBay with bidding. I maybe like there.
Okay, so you say under what Todd said. Okay, let's see. This one says it's screen used though.
Oh,
Wow.
6. Oh man.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Mm. No habla inglés.
But how do you know that yours weren't screen used in like because you know with those flyers they've got a stack of them in like the travel thing, and how do you know yours wasn't one of the ones sitting in the
stack? Yeah,
stack of them.
Well, it says original replica. So
No.
this one is more yellow. Oh, wait. Let me see.
Oh, there's a little thing in the pattern there. At the end of the pattern, you see? There's a little like wicked thing.
I see.
See that?
What do you
Maybe
got?
that will
I think
tell
you got
you.
some remix.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one's open. The pattern's open, like the first one. This pattern follows the original.
Okay.
Because there's two stripes. This one starts with 2 stripes.
Yeah.
And then that little V shape with the dot, and then 2 more stripes, and then the V shape. This is like the one on the left, the original.
Yeah, if you don't have the full V at the bottom above the dinosaur skull, where it's only the half a V in the original, that's probably the original then.
Well, I can show you. See if we can go close up.
So Pedro won, basically, is what we're saying.
Yeah, I won.
So yeah, here's the skull. But if you can see, it's line V with a dot above it, and then 2 more lines.
Oh yeah,
so
it's not the full V. It's the half V, which is what the original was.
Right.
Okay. And you have 3 of them?
What? Yeah, I have 3 of them.
That's a yacht party with 9 girls.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I might do some Google search or
you get 18 grand off of those 3 flyers, Art. I want a pontificators party with all of us showing up somewhere.
I'll tell you right now, I will share the wealth for sure. I mean,
it's
a little. I don't know how.
I'll pay my travel expenses, but you just throw us a party and we'll all show up together. You know.
I'll bring the girls.
I'll bring the girls.
Bring those Panamanian girls. Yes. Get a couple of Colombian girls in there too.
That's horrible. Yeah.
All right, hey, if you guys can steer the ship for a while, my dog brought in a noisy toy, so I got to wrestle for it.
Good. I mean,
Pedro, Todd, Happy New Year! Happy New Year, man. Gone.
Sorry, you're sick.
I got sick about a week ago, and it just lingers. So
I got sick for a couple of days too.
Pedro, in Central America, do you have a cold and flu season, or does it not kind of work that way?
I mean, we have mosquitoes, so you can get dengue. You can get like
dengue fever
and yellow fever. You can get that, but you have to like trek into the jungle and be an idiot.
No monkeypox.
No, for that you have to intercourse a monkey, and they're not that attractive. Like I don't know, I've never seen a monkey I would like to intercourse. Yeah,
they're faster than all the girls I'm chasing too. So
yeah. It's easier.
That's the thing is like cold and flu season is it is regional, you know. It's not like you don't hear Central America or South America or certain other places complaining about cold and flu season. So
yeah, we don't get the climate for that. But you can get sick down here. Like you can get the flu, but it's not like seasonal. And you get like the yearly shot and you're fine. Now if you go into the jungle like an idiot, then you're gonna catch stuff that there's no cure for.
Yeah, you're gonna try something or.
No, dude! Like there's a disease called leishmaniasis. I don't know how you say it in.
That's a dinosaur disease.
Yeah, and there's a little bug in a mountain down here that you can get it from that bug, but you have to go there and like poke the bug in the ass for him to sting you.
So you can get that on Jurassic Park, you guys.
Yep. So that's the kind of thing. There's a scorpion here that the venom has like a different chemical composition, so there's no antidote for it.
Oh boy!
But you have to go into the jungle and then try to like intercourse the scorpion, and then you get sick.
You got to really look for it.
Scorpions, that's it.
Yeah,
you can't see a scorpion coming like you can see an alligator coming.
Oh, dude, I kill scorpions here like 2 a week.
Oh God,
They're really common.
Here it's just old people coughing in the supermarket. It's like I'm just trying to get my groceries, and there's just old people coughing everywhere, and it's like
I'll take the scorpions over old people coughing.
Yeah,
that sounds horrible.
I don't like scorpions because they're hard to find. They're hard to see. Like, you know what I mean? Like they look like they could be twigs on the ground or whatever. I don't like those sons of bitches. And also they go into attack mode instantly. We used to get those in California. It was a desert. And so I confronted a couple
Is there somebody defending Biden in the chat?
Is there?
I think there might be. I just saw. Who's this Andy Go-Go Comics? Basically, he was the best president ever. He just won't know it until after Trump fixes everything he dismantled after years down the road. LO. I think I just caught a little piece of it.
Is this it?
Biden full-blown lying at his... Well, yeah. Okay. He's not defending Biden. Okay, thank God.
No, he's not defending Biden. And the thing is, like, how can you lie if you don't know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
Biden's defense for everything is he's mentally incompetent, so he can't be accused of lying because he doesn't know. You
know what I don't understand? Okay, just an aside, which is what we always do, is okay, Joe Biden. We're supposed to go, oh well, yeah, his faculties aren't all there. He's old, whatever, right? And yet on his way out, he's just like got a shotgun and he just like blam, blam, blam. Like he just scattershot everywhere. Like he's doing all this crazy ass shit on his way out. And it's like, if he is all these things, then shouldn't we shut this guy down? Like if he's incompetent.
Biden's not doing anything, Art.
That's why Trump wants
the puppet masters who have been had their hand up Biden's ass for the last 4 years. They're doing everything. Biden's not doing shit. He doesn't even know what's going on right now.
Right, but if we take it at face value, everybody's agreed that he's not all there. Then how come, as a country, puppet master or Biden or whoever, how could we stand for this? Like this is absurd, right? What's that, Todd?
He's like being spiteful.
Oh,
that's why Trump
they're all being
the name of
the lost.
Gulf America, from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf America, because that'll undo that thing he just did that said you can't drill because in it's the Gulf of Mexico. So if you change the name, then that nullifies.
Trump's doing stuff. Trump's got 100
playing chess.
Presidential. Yeah, exactly.
He's playing chess against the guy that's got 1 foot out the door. You know what I mean? Like, this is really weird,
Trump's playing chess against Biden, who just shit on his checkers board in his own pants.
Yeah, right. How do you feel about this whole Panama thing? Like us taking
Panama got all of a sudden a lot more press, Pedro.
Okay, this is the way I see it.
Ooh, tell us.
We've already been invaded, so it wouldn't be a surprise if you guys do that again. That's one. The first time you guys invaded, we had an army and we lasted 4 days. We don't have an army anymore.
You got Chinese security, apparently.
No, dude. This all started in 2017 with President Juan Carlos Varela. I know exactly what happened.
Okay.
That idiot broke relationships with Taiwan to have access to mainland China's money.
Oh,
when he did that, China started investing in Panama ports in Balboa, which is in the Pacific side, and Panama Port Cristobal, which is in the Caribbean side.
Yeah,
that's
Gulf of America.
Yeah, that's the control that China has over the canal. Now everybody wants to basically hang Juan Carlos Varela by the asshole because everything was fine before that. So the thing is, like, within the 77, the treaty that was signed with your most beloved president, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah,
there's a clause made by a New York senator, Concini. It's called the Concini clause.
Yeah,
the Concini clause says that if the Panama Canal security is compromised, the U.S. has all the rights to come back. Now, Trump only has to prove that China owns both ports on both sides, on both oceans,
compromise. Yeah.
To say it's compromised. So we're fucked.
Yeah.
Now,
well, I heard, I don't know how true, Pedro, because you're obviously boots on the ground.
yeah,
I
Pedro
heard
knows what
that
he's talking about.
Panamanians are all in favor of U.S. coming in. Is
Some
that
are.
true?
some are.
Some are.
Others not so much. It's very divided because the thing is like when America was here, we were a we were under the jurisdiction of the Louisiana laws. So up until 1964, it was Jim Crow law in the Canal Zone. So you had very colorful signs like like waterfront, whites only, no dogs, no Panamanians. So there's a lot of dude. I can find the pictures where
just resentment from the racism that was
but for the Jim Crow law,
really hard in control.
When that ended in the U.S., that ended here. So I was born in '74, so I only have like great memories. I have a lot of American friends. Like I don't have a problem at all. When the Panama Canal came back to Panama, I was obviously happy. But dude, like I'm not really benefiting from the bonanza of the canal. Maybe like we have like the most modern city in Central America. Like because you guys all joke that we live like in huts, and some do, but Panama City is one of the most modern cities in Central America.
Sure.
And we benefit from the canal, but dude, like I applied to the canal when I came back from school. Like they didn't take me in, and it's a very elitist thing.
Oh yeah.
Very few people benefit directly from the canal. So, dude, if the U.S. comes and takes it over, I might feel like a bit about it, but for like half an hour.
So it's not going to really make that much of a difference to the people. Like it'll still be business as usual, pretty much. Yeah. So no more prosperity or anything like that. It'll just be
unless they come in and they filter some of that profit benefit into.
It's inevitable
more of the community.
It's inevitable because the jobs. Like people who need to work, people who are here need to work in the canal. Like all the expertise is here. I find like a lot of the pundits say really funny things. Like 27,000 Americans died building that canal. It's ours. And like, okay, you can go to the cemetery, and you'll see 500 Americans dead, and the rest were Jamaicans, Trinidad, people from Trinidad, all the Caribbean,
local people
all over the world. And so, like, do you have a right to the canal? I would say yes, because you guys built it. Bottom line, Teddy Roosevelt came down here. He negotiated with Colombia. Colombia tried to be frisky and funny. The second in command in the building of the French canal, because you got Ferdinand de Lesseps was the guy who built the Suez Canal. His second in command was Philippe Bunau Varilla. That guy negotiated with the U.S. the independence of Panama. So that's why the treaties is the High Bunau Varilla treaties. Philippe Bunau Varilla negotiated on behalf of Panama. Panama didn't even exist, and Philippe Bunau Varilla was a French guy. That's the first thing to say. Hey, whoa! Like you have a treaty with Panama, but no Panamanian really signed it. So that's the thing. Like, dude, I have a script for a movie.
Yeah,
it's kind of like an Ocean's 11 style movie, like who's the biggest asshole with that guy. Because that guy was a dick.
When a like a ship goes through there, who makes that money? Who makes the money on the ship going through there?
The canal, Panama. Right now,
okay.
Right now, Panama.
And it's not a crooked business. It's
no. The thing is, you can't make it crooked. The moment you insert corruption into the canal, the U.S. has all the right to come back. So it's very transparent. The problems are those two ports.
Now, what happened to the baseball player that was running for president?
Baseball player?
It was like David Martinez or Tippy Martinez or one of the brothers.
No, there's no Tippy Martinez running for president. There was a New York Yankees, Mariano Rivera, but he didn't run for president.
No.
And we have another guy who played it with the Astros. That he's like a huge cattle rancher right now. But no, the only guy who ran for president who's a Panamanian celebrity is Ruben Blades. I don't know if you know who he is.
Ruben Blades, yeah.
Yeah, like he's Panamanian. He's a big salsa star, and he's like a Hollywood actor. He ran for president and lost.
I really like salsa when it's on my eggs in the morning.
Yep.
He's the guy that was on the Walking Dead, the other version.
That's Ruben Blades.
Yeah.
Ruben Blades.
Rob
made it.
God, look at him.
Hey, what's up, Rob? All in red.
Hey Rob, just in time to uncover this whole bankruptcy thing with Diamond Distribution. Yeah, I'm going to give a little bit of some backstory. So we're going to educate the masses here, and we're going to go into some articles. So let's do this one right here. Let's do this.
Do it.
All right. So what is this? Close.
You never have too many guitars. Nice.
Yeah, this is Bleeding Fool, you guys. They are nobody's fool. And so if you haven't heard, comic book distributors, Last Stand, Diamond falls into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So Diamond Comics distributors, once the titan of comic book distribution, has filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Protection marking a seismic shift in the comic book industry. This development comes as no surprise to industry insiders who have been watching, Rob Hunter, the slow decline of traditional comic book sales since even before COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the market in 2020. The bankruptcy filing announced today, January 14th, is likely to as a direct result of the splintering that had occurred when Diamond temporarily shut down operations during early days of the pandemic. Remember that? Pencils down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This closure
back to comeback.
Yeah, this closure forced major publishers like DC and Marvel to seek. This is the key, to seek alternative distribution models, ultimately leading to a permanent shift away from Diamond's near monopoly on the comic distribution. I would say they had a monopoly. They say near monopoly. I don't know.
It was a complete monopoly.
For a while,
They
yeah.
have to say that so they don't get sued.
Is that it? Because they had a monopoly. Let's face it.
The thing is when it's a small industry where nobody cares about, you can have a monopoly on it because it's like who's going to steal crumbs from a mouse? You know?
No.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, like I own all the manure in the world.
Yeah.
They were kind of forced into
Wait.
that monopoly at the same time.
Fertilizer is in high
Well,
demand.
let me touch base with this, and then we can go off and talk about how we feel. But I want to let some of the reader or the listeners know what's going on, just in case they don't. As part of the restructuring events, Diamond has secured $39 million stalking horse bid from Universal Distribution for its Alliance Game Distribution division. So it looks like they're selling stuff off. The company has also obtained $41 million in debtor in possession financing from their bank, JP Morgan Chase, to the tune of $41 million. And that's facing financing to help Diamond get through the reorganization and bankruptcy process. Universal Distribution picking up Alliance is a critical element of their restructuring strategy. Obviously, Universal can see Diamond's potential, and it will hopefully facilitate a smoother transition during the bankruptcy process. The roots of Diamond's downfall can be traced to March of 2020, when comic book sales plummeted due to widespread store closures and economic uncertainty. Also, there was a lot of retailers that went out of business that time as well. The industry reliance on a single distributor became glaringly apparent, prompting publishers to diversify their distribution channels. DC Comics was the first to cut ties. I think DC went with Lunar and
Lunar, and Penguin also.
Well, Penguin is Marvel, I think.
Yeah,
I think Marvel went with Penguin Random House, and then DC went with Lunar and UCS. And so DC was the first with Diamond in 2020, setting off a chain reaction that would ultimately lead to Diamond losing 84% of its comic periodical business in 2023. I don't even know how they're still in business. 84%. Holy shit. And they're just talking about the DC stuff right now. They're not even talking about the Marvel. So then, despite a brief resurgence in comic sales during the pandemic, with overall sales reaching record 1.28 billion in 2020, the industry has struggled to maintain any momentum. The years since have been a decline in traditional American comic book sales. Even as manga has experienced significant growth, the closures of hundreds of comic book stores between 2020 and 2024 has further exacerbated the challenge faced by publishers and distributors alike. I want to go real quick, you guys, before we comment, just in case somebody doesn't know. And I didn't really know what Chapter 11 really was either. So I want to get into that real quick. So what is Chapter 11? Google says Chapter 11 bankruptcy is a court-supervised process that allows the debtor to reorganize their debts and continue operating a business. It's also known as a reorganization bankruptcy. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're going out of business. So how it works, the debtor proposes a plan to reorganize the debts. Creditors can vote on the plan. Court confirms the plan. Debtor continues to operate the business and is known as the debtor in possession.
If they had anything of value, will not mean bankruptcy, but they have nothing of value, so they'll be gone. This is just this is them coasting to doom, and some people are going to try to get paid, but it's over. It's comic book industry doesn't have the strength or the health.
Wow, you just went right for it, didn't you? All right, show's over. Show's over.
It's strange that Rob does not have an optimistic take on this.
No.
I personally,
he's always a ray of sunshine. Yeah.
Well,
I said Diamond.
Hey, Rob.
I was just talking about Diamond. Diamond is gone.
Right.
Well,
but there are businesses that do come back from bankruptcy.
But it's because they have a healthy market.
Marvel Comics came back from bankruptcy.
Yes, but there was a healthy market to save them.
And they had product.
Diamond.
They had product. Yeah, you can say that. But
they also look at what they had to do to save their ass. They had to sell off Spider-Man. They had to sell off X-Men.
Yeah.
They screwed over a lot of freelancers.
Well, I don't know if you remember, we had to sign a
cannibalized.
No, hold on. We had to. I think Rob was working there at the time. We had to sign.
I didn't sign anything.
Oh, you didn't? Well, they were saying if you want to continue working for Marvel, you have to sign this bankruptcy contract, which basically stated at any time they could not pay you.
I wasn't making enough money for them to care. They were spending more on papers and pens. So they weren't worried about what they were paying me. They're like, what's he making a year?
Yeah. So Rob pretty much, just went right for the jugular. So you don't think that there's any way that Diamond's going to come back from this?
The comic book industry, it's not like after the boom, the comic book industry returned to pre-boom numbers. We went from the boom to under pre-boom numbers, and it's just been this diagonal drop, and you can just see now Diamond had 20 years to downsize, get their shit in gear. Retailers constantly complain about how their system is ridiculous. They never updated anything. I wouldn't be surprised if during these bankruptcy proceedings you'll find out a lot of people were embezzling from the company, because if the company is on a downswing like that, that's when you, even if you don't reinvest, that's when you start fixing stuff. Unless you're just so busy stealing from the coffers,
get what you can get before it hits the bottom, basically.
And a lot of people do that. They'll give themselves raises, they'll give themselves bonuses,
and
they'll change.
I think the comic book industry in general nobody is going to shed a tear for Diamond, and
No.
nobody is going to miss them.
No.
Diamond was a leech. It was a necessary leech,
Yeah.
but it was always a leech.
They weren't helping.
It never offered any benefit to the comic book industry. It siphoned off as much as it possibly could with giving the least amount of effort. And that's all Diamond ever was.
Well, there's a couple things that I didn't like about Diamond in the day. They definitely had predatorial kind of business practices, and they took it out on all of us. So one, I was independently publishing back in mid-90s, and their ads were expensive. Like if you wanted to run an ad, like a black and white ad, it was like $1,000 or something, maybe even more. And then even those little corner ads, I think my wife was saying that was like $1,000 or close to $1,000.
$2,000 for like a color ad.
Or a full page ad. Yeah. And so the thing is, if you were an independent book and you're selling, I don't know, 10, 15,000, how could you afford that? You really can't. So these guys, they were gouging the little guy, like like Marvel and DC, they could take ads out, they could kind of absorb that, but the smaller publications, they could not. So I always thought that there was predatorial with that. Also, they sold the distribution catalog in the stores, so they were basically manufacturing product that was resellable. So I also found out today that I hated this. So like some people, they get the catalog, they order weekly, and then they give their order to the retailer, right? Well, they have to buy that book. They have to buy that distribution catalog in a lot of cases. So they're buying the catalog so they can order from the distribution. From Diamond,
right? Sales. Yeah.
Right. It's fucking absurd. Like if you were... It's just like it's double dipping everywhere you can. So they were just gouging everybody. And then what I would ask is, one, if I don't know if you guys were still buying comics where you were ordering and giving that order to your shopkeeper, but the thing is, you're doing now the shopkeeper's work for them, right? So you're doing like all the marketing, like this is what's going to sell this month. So we get all the orders, and then what does the retailer do? The retailer does nothing. They just give the orders to Diamond. So my thing is, even if retailers get hurt through this, which they will, then you already supported a structure that was broken to begin with because you were creating obsolescence. You were taking yourself out of the equation. Why can't people just order directly from Diamond? Why do we need stores? You know what I mean? Like our like CG stuff is direct to consumer. Why couldn't Diamond do that? You know what I mean? I never understood that. So basically, retailers.
Well, that's turning like
they could do it.
100 customers. Like one store has 150 customers. Now Diamond would be shipping to 150 people, not just to one store. That's why Diamond would.
It
never
would cut into their
store.
profit margins. Like what Diamond was doing was making them ass loads of money.
Yeah, and they never tried to expand or try to fix or try to change.
There's a reason Diamond
anything.
just sat on this for years, is because they were making huge profit margins and they had no competition.
Yeah.
And they had no expenses. It was just a warehouse where stuff shipped in and they shipped it out, and they didn't care about any of it, and they just reaped the benefit of it.
Yeah, I had a couple shops in California, and they would talk about getting their orders in. They'd either be wrong or some of the books were not destroyed, but the collector market, even if there's a page that's kind of chipped or folded a little bit, like most people won't buy that book because they want prestige.
I get zero shits about that.
Yeah, sometimes I remember one of my retail buddies showed me a box where there were literally books folded. You know what I mean? They were like in the middle. Yeah. They were just thrown in there, and then another stack was thrown on top, and they were folded in place. It's like this is a collectible market. You can't do that stuff. I know, Clint, Rob, you're going to be dealing with this soon, and Pedro, you've already dealt with it. Like shipping, we got to make sure that those books are prestige. They're pristine in shape, and
they look They need to look, feel, and smell like quality. If not,
Yeah, like they're brand new. No damage done, none of that stuff. And Diamond was, basically shipping damaged stuff. But anyway, I think that Diamond, was they were definitely exercising some questionable. What is that? Oh, that's your packing.
Wrapped in bubble wrap, pristine, pristine shipping.
Look at that.
Mint condition. Everything is protected.
Oh yeah.
You're getting the best product that you can possibly get.
Are you seeing this hand model right now?
Creators who care about making sure you get their book in mint condition.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So I mean, we understand the market, and but Diamond did this thing too. I used to love Capital Distribution.
Yeah, I remember Capital.
And they were Diamond's direct competitors. I liked everybody that worked there. They understood the market. This industry is everybody helps everybody else. Like when I first started, there was like, you would help this guy, help that guy. And Capital was one of those companies. Like I got a black and white cover from Capital in the mid 90s. Like they were definitely like, you could talk to them. You could work things out. You didn't have to have like, oh, I'm on the Wizard Top 10 or I have $1 billion to put into your book. Maybe that's why they went out of business. I don't know. But they were definitely more user-friendly. And they also were way more open to the independent market, like the deep indie stuff. And so they had a big section and they had no restrictions on it. And I remember as soon as Diamond put Capital out of business, they changed their indie market procedures or their limits. So they had like, if you didn't sell X amount of books, then you would be canceled from their catalog. You know what I mean? So whatever.
Cutthroat business moves. Like
they were cutthroat, and then I remember people in the industry were talking like, well, then where would Ninja Turtles be? You know what I mean? There were some of these books, Men in Black, The Crow, they weren't selling that well. So would those books have even existed if they had Diamond's, cutthroat business?
Those books got through because the market was different when they existed, and then that market shifted very quickly after that. Where there was no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 5 to 10 years after that stuff because the market shifted so quickly, and it was all these factors contributed to that. Like let's bleed off as much money off of these hot things as we can, and we're not interested in like. Well, there was a time where there was like all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoffs. They got a little bit of a window, but when none of those hit, they kind of cut that off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I just thought that they weren't like they weren't in the old spirit of what the comics industry was when, I remember it being really good, and I'm not saying that books were selling millions of copies or anything like that, but there was kind of this feeling like it was all for one for all. We all had each other's backs because nobody, quite frankly, was getting rich. Yeah. Nobody. Yeah. There was
the opportunity. There was an opportunity for like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There was an opportunity for like Bone. Remember Bone?
Yeah, Bone. I was thinking about Bone
was
too.
Way behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but there was still the opportunity for that with the distribution system, with the shipping, with everything in the comic book industry. Yeah. There was still an opportunity for a new idea in the indie market.
Yeah, guys, going back to the article, don't you feel this article is a little bit over dramatic?
In what way?
In the sense that they're talking about Diamond distribution as the epicenter of an industry, and Diamond is only a service.
It's been around for so long, but you're right. You're right.
In the end, Diamond is a service. It will create a vacuum, and then somebody else will fill it, and will go, or every artist will go to direct.
Well, somebody's already filled it. That's what the reason Diamond is in this position is because DC and Marvel, they pulled from the catalog. They pulled from it. And so I don't hear DC and Marvel complaining like, oh, books are late or books are, shipped, destroyed or anything like that. So the thing is, they showed weakness and they held the comics industry hostage during the lockdown.
The pandemic,
and DC and Marvel were like, screw you. You know what I mean? We're going to do it regardless. And I do think that was the beginning of the end for Diamond.
And you're just proving Pedro's point is Diamond's been dead for 10 years.
Exactly.
That's
like the metaphor to me. The metaphor to me, it's like people are getting horrified at a dried roadkill.
Yeah.
You know when you find like a possum that's been dead for like 6 months that it's all dried up, like, oh my god, it's dead. Of course it's dead.
Who's being horrified?
Can I school you guys a little bit? Can I school you a little bit?
Let Todd school us.
School us,
so
Todd.
Originally, when things were good, even after when they were good, you had 40 warehouses and 800 trucks. So when the crash happened and stores dropped, now you got to start consolidating fast. So this isn't something where you can put blame on anybody. It's across the board. The business is dying. 3,400 copies of a book. Of anything under the top 100, you might as well ship by mail instead of by your truck. What the model they did was drop shipping to stores. They started drop shipping. Go pick up your pallet and take it back to your store. So it was a lot more than just what everybody's saying,
But just to clarify, I wasn't arguing with Pedro. I was clarifying and adding to it because he's completely right. Like Diamond, since the pandemic shutdown, has pretty much sealed their own fate, and at this point, retailers, the comics superhero industry, Marvel, DC, they haven't relied on Diamond for years. So they pretty much took themselves out of the game by not playing nicer with DC and Marvel. So,
Art question.
Go ahead.
So you're saying Diamond took themselves out of the game, but the way Marvel and DC have been run for the last 10 to 15 to 20 years just pushed Diamond into a place where Diamond was just going to become what it has.
Well, why I said it the way I said it was, hold on.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Art.
Because Diamond during the lockdown pretty much held the publishers hostage. Like they said, we're not going to distribute the books, blah, blah, blah. So they kind of dictated terms, I believe, to Marvel and DC. So Marvel and DC, and this has been brewing for a long time. Marvel and DC finally just went, well, we'll just get other distribution outlets. And we'll do it ourselves. And the thing is that I never understood with DC to begin with is DC always had distribution. They're Time Warner. Time Warner was even TV Guide in the day. They had Time Magazine. They had a ton of magazines that went into supermarkets and all these things, right? And so I never quite understood why DC didn't distribute their own books. They did in the day. In the beginning, in the 60s, they actually did distribution for Marvel Comics. You know what I mean? In the day. So the thing is, I don't understand why they didn't just do it themselves to begin with.
They didn't care enough.
They didn't want to bother.
Yeah. They just didn't care. They didn't want to bother. If there was enough money involved, they would have. But
it all comes down to money. Everything comes down to money. They didn't want to have to bother. And then when the push came to shove, and the money was starting to cut into their profits, they're like, oh, well, we can just do it ourselves.
Yeah,
and we can do it ourselves for this, and it'll be less than what we're paying Diamond. And so, fuck Diamond. You know
what's really sad?
That's all it comes down to.
Is Diamond doesn't even have commercial real estate to fall back on.
Yeah,
because the commercial real estate market is crashed. So even if they own all those warehouses, they're practically worthless now.
Yeah.
So there's nothing
shipping books out to your fans is not rocket science. It's a hassle. It's busy work, but it's not difficult. It's just time consuming.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's a learning curve.
Enough money to pay somebody else to do it, then you do that. And then when you're not making enough money to make it worthwhile, you do it yourself.
Right. And you know what else came out? I believe it was during the pandemic, is that all the debt that the retail stores had. Like they had credit with Diamond. And so Diamond was kind of working almost mafia style, right? It's like these people were indebted to Diamond. So it was almost like, it's not a pyramid scheme, but it's kind of like, it's like credit. Like you just keep every month.
There's a lot of floating
deeper and deeper into debt. And all that Diamond keeps doing is going, it's okay. It's okay. Pay me next month. Pay me next month. And before you know it, a lot of these retail stores are upside down and they can't make ends meet. Yeah. And that's a bad business like if it's a good client and every once in a while they have a hard time here and there, but they've proven themselves, then maybe you extend debt. But there were shops, like I said, like in California, some of these shops were, I don't know, maybe a year, 2 years old, and they were already indebted to Diamond for debt.
Art, guess what? Diamond is extending that debt because they're in debt themselves. They're floating out that debt to just keep everything. Because they're in debt. They're all of their backers too. So they're just trying to keep everything at a certain level.
Because they realize
doing that. Cash flow.
They realize the big picture. They want those retailers to stay around, even if they're barely making the minimum payment.
It's a house of cards.
Wait, exactly. Are we talking about the banks? Or are we talking about comic book stores? Because it's the same goddamn thing.
It is. It is exactly the same thing.
Business is business, Rob.
Well, that's why I was saying like mafia tactics, and I was saying predatorial business practices. Because
I read that book. Business is business. Yeah,
business is business. It all filters. It all filters across.
We just described America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Capitalism.
Capitalism, baby.
I found out
everyone's upside down.
I listened to these like business shows and stuff like that. This one guy was talking. He was like, "There's only 8% of America that owe no debt. Only 8%."
Oh, dude,
I'm sure
that's pretty crazy, right?
Debt is
that's all of us. That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
That only 8% owe nothing.
Don't let anybody think that I'm ripping on capitalism, because capitalism is the only system that works.
Oh,
no, you're right.
You have to have something that sells too.
No, it's supposed to work.
When your shit stops selling, guess what? Those debts come due, and that's what.
You know what? I was surprised that Jeppy or one of these guys at Diamond didn't come to CG and make some deals with us. I mean, they still
tried. They tried.
With who?
The things like we're talking like. Late 2019, like he started appearing on shows, on CG shows, and dude, that got stomped really quick. The same way that it happened with the guy from Dynamite. They tried to approach, but then it was like, "No, my God, you're all Nazis and you hate the."
Yeah. I mean, there's a toxic angle,
the animosity.
And I was one of those books at Dynamite, the black and white Vampirilla crossover.
I remember that.
I was working on the Green Hornet black and white crossover, which would have been a dream come true. But then it wasn't CG that became the toxic asshole. It was the rest of the industry that was like, why are you doing business with them? And then they threatened to basically complain to what was The Boys. The Boys is a Dynamite book. So they were going to go to the network and they were going to complain. I don't know what the hell they were thinking that was going to happen, but they were going to basically say that Nick Bruce and Dynamite are in bed with a bunch of Nazis and haters and all this.
This is a classic liberal move. Is like, oh, okay, conservatives are making money. We have to demonize them, and then we have to threaten anybody that wants to do business with them. This is what the last 6 to 8 years has been.
But just think about
all those roosters are coming back to crow now.
But just think about what we could have built together. You know, Nick was willing to do it. Nick's a good friend. He came to my wedding. Mm-hmm. He's a good guy. He just got, I mean, when you have a mob, an angry mob with pitchforks and torches coming at you, it's easier especially if they're threatening like your cash cow, which is the Boys TV show, streaming show.
That's their tactic.
Right. Then you just go the easiest route, which would be okay, let's cut this loose and let's go in this direction. So you appease the angry mob. But I sometimes just think like, well, what if Nick or Jeppy would have just said, listen,
stood up.
What do you guys said? Business is business, right? Yeah. I've known these guys their whole career. I've known them for 40 years. I've known Art for 40 years. He's not what you're saying he is. We're going to go forward with the Green Hornet black and white crossover.
That would have been awesome.
Or just sat back and saw which one of these liberal comic book creators had sexual harassment lawsuits against them. Every other year for the last 5 years, all of these bleeding heart liberal comic book creators are so holier than thou and shout down any kind of conservative creator because they're the bad guys. And then sexual harassment lawsuit after sexual harassment lawsuit for all of these liberal comic book creators. And
my favorite,
we're the bad guys over here, and it's all them.
Well, we're the imaginary bad guys. They're the real bad guys because
they're all protecting themselves.
Joss Whedon was like, he's this feminist and he's for feminist rights and he creates these strong females, these characters and stuff like that. And then the guy gets busted for cheating on his wife. You know what I mean? Like,
but we don't harass. But Clint, their theory is that we don't harass women because we hate them.
Most of us are married.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, in their logic, it's like, yeah, well, you hate women. So if I hate something, why would I say I don't want to be around it? And like,
it's completely made up. They just make up all this stuff. It's not real.
They're creeps.
Yeah, exactly.
They're creeps that want to have like kind of a power thing, and it's all about control. And then if they've got a female fan, it transfers onto the female fan. They want to control them.
Yeah, they want the chicks. Like Neil Gaiman.
They don't love comics. They don't love comics. They saw comics as a source for them to get a little bit of power. Creators in CG, none of us are doing this to get rich.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Rob is. We love making comics.
Yeah,
we love drawing comics. We love writing comics. Rob used to love inking comics.
No, I don't love anything. I'm a hateful, terrible person.
Rob will love the apocalypse because it'll prove everything he said is right.
I definitely won't love that. I live in Florida. It's way too humid here.
The old Twilight Zone where the guy goes in the vault and he comes out and all the books and everybody's gone, but all the books are there. But he breaks his glasses so he can't read the books.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
What?
Rob
the Twilight Zone episode,
and he would smash his glasses, and he would say, "I don't give a fuck about books. I was right, motherfuckers."
I would recreate that famous photo of all the little kids with all the Detective 27 and stuff in the room. Eating their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I'd recreate that photo with everybody else's that are dead. Those books, and go, and they take a Polaroid of it. Look what I've did.
Yeah, I'm being creative.
Polaroids of dead kids.
No, not dead kids.
Let me read this. Randy Howell says CG is still the answer for all gender issues. Black and White Volume 3 Juju will make Cecil go straight.
Oh no, I don't know if that's possible.
Okay, that's.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's usually, and we've been around the block long enough, it's the person that's screaming the most about whatever it is. So they're really just trying to overcompensate for what they are. So if I say I'm a feminist and I love women and I love women's rights, then I couldn't cheat on my wife, right? It's like it's the perfect cover, you know. I'm a bigot and a hateful person, but if I call these other people bigots and hateful, then I can't be that because these people are that. So it's kind of the standard thing. But the problem is if you label somebody quickly enough and often enough, that label will stick. You know what I mean? Because it's harder to argue against something once it's stuck than it is to make the accusation. So usually the person that makes the accusation, their voice is the one that's heard. Like, just in case in point, like the news can say Donald Trump is XYZ, right? It could be completely manufactured, completely fake, right? But it's there, it exists, and there are a handful of people that will mimic that back to somebody else. They're parrot it back, and then before you know it, there's some reality behind it, even though the next day there might be a disclaimer, but nobody's going to read the disclaimer. They read the headline.
All right. The thing is, and everything you just said is right, but you have to be in it for the long haul. And the long haul can be 8 to 10 years. And I think that's where we're at now, is the Trump win shifted everything. And it did. It shifted everything. ESG, BlackRock is getting out of ESG. Like
I'm about to lose my country.
Yeah. Obama is sitting down. Obama is sitting down. Obama is sitting down and having yucks with Trump over the fact that Hillary still hates him, and they're laughing together. Like those are tectonic shifts, and they affect everything. ESG was pushed as hard as it could, and ESG affected comics as much as anything. ESG was shoved down comics' throat. ESG is dead in the water now.
Yeah.
So you have to be in it for the long haul. The next 5 to 8 years will be interesting because these guys that were pushing this crap in comics and have nearly killed comics, but comics isn't dead, but they nearly killed comics. Those guys don't have all of this agenda that was pushed from the political party, and it permeated everything. So it's not going to turn overnight, but it is going to affect a lot of things. You don't gay Superman, gay Green Lantern, gay this, that, and the other. Like that's over. Like that's not gonna. Like nobody's gonna be jumping on board that because people have seen the way the wind is blowing, and so.
Don't say
I don't know the future,
blowing,
but I have a lot of faith in the future being brighter than it was a few years ago.
I think you're right. And you know what? I say to my wife all the time, we talk about this ridiculous shit daily now because it just happens, just craziness. And I always come to this conclusion. Okay, we all know all of this stuff. We know it. Now, what are you willing to do? We're at that point now. Like, what are you willing to do? The only way it's going to stop is the pushback. So we hopefully we got somebody that's Trump and he has our back. He will voice our opinions. He'll be that guy. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see. And then maybe things will shift and that we can get some kind of normalcy back. Like just some kind of, like you could use the word, the name Donald Trump and not get crucified. You know what I mean? Like you could freely say it. Remember when you couldn't even say COVID? Like
that's
COVID.
Social media thing. That's social media.
Carrie Underwood is singing at the inauguration, and she is not scared. So, like, there are celebrities out there Like, it's not just Kid Rock. Carrie Underwood going and singing at the inauguration is like, F you. And like all the country people that are popular, and country is popular than any music form right now. If you're not Trump and you're not, MAGA and Republican, you're not selling tickets. And look at all the comedians. Like all the guys like
Team
around Joe Rogan.
Off the hook, man. Yeah.
Those are the hottest guys now. Kill Tony. Nobody knew who Tony Hinchcliffe was a year ago. Everybody knows who Tony Hinchcliffe is now. In all the social media stuff. Rob doesn't, but we're all old.
I hate social media.
But these guys are making money.
And you know what? To your point, or to my point, actually, is like California, these fires. Okay, so you hear these actors talking, and then they're trying to be, some of them are trying to be fair. They're like, well, it's not Democratic, Republican. We just need to get back to some kind of good leadership and everything. So they're trying not to single out their own party, right? Yeah. So they're saying it this way. But what they're basically saying is the Democratic Party has let down Southern California. But like I said, the pushback, what are they going to do about it? Because right now, if they wanted to unite in a single voice, and they got to do it soon, they could overthrow that government. They could get rid of the mayor, they could get rid of the governor, and they could put new power in there. Because right now they have the sympathy of the world, right? They have all ears listening, and if they, in a united voice, enough of them came up and said, we need to get rid of Gavin Newsom and whatever the mayor's name, I forget her name. Yeah. We need to get rid of them, and we deserve better leadership. I don't care where it comes from, left, right, I don't care, but we deserve better leadership. And that's the pushback we need. That's the stuff we need. We need like Nick Barucci, like I was saying, for him just to go, you know what? I'm going to work with whoever I want, and screw you guys. Yeah. Business. Right? This is what we need to do now. We need to stand up, and we need to, we've been talking, like CG's been doing this for years now. You know what I mean? But, things are changing slowly, which is how change always works. But I do think we're at this point now that most people see it, right? We've educated people. They know. So at this point now, it's like, what are you going to do about it?
They've lost money. All of these people who bet on democratic liberalism, socialism, all this woke bullshit, they've been losing money for the last 8 to 10 years. BlackRock moved all of their money out of ESG, all of their stuff. It's like all that stuff shifts everybody else. The people that
I think it's gone underground. I don't think it really has disappeared. These are globalists. These are powerful people behind this movement. So I think it's like right now it's just kind of maybe being swept under the rug. But I don't think it's gone away. And just case in point, what if Kamala Harris would have won? Would you still be saying the same thing?
No, that's the whole point. Kamala Harris didn't win.
Right.
We escaped disaster.
Right.
She couldn't rally troops.
Everything else. It's a trickle-down effect to everything else.
Yeah, but just saying, like, if she would have won, nothing would have changed. Everything would still be the same. So
it wouldn't. It'd been a million times worse.
Worse. Yeah, it would be worse.
Kamala Harris was socialism. Trump was capitalism. That's you can break it down any way you want. It was
Kamala Harris was cackling, like she wasn't. Hey. She didn't stand for anything. She wasn't communism. She couldn't define it. She was like,
the people that were running Kamala Harris were.
That's different.
Wait. If I Kamala live in a Harris was a country, then I can stop paying my property tax for schools because I don't have kids. I shouldn't have to pay Social Security anymore either. We should cut that one out. There's a bunch of things that are already social. It's already a socialist country in so many ways.
You can have a little bit of socialism, Rob.
In the ways that they've decided.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They decided we have to
need
give up our money for certain things.
There's people that need socialism, handicapped people, people disadvantaged. You can have a little bit of socialism, but you need capitalism running the show. And capitalism affords for a little bit of socialism. That's why capitalism is better.
Well, then the banks, when they all collapse, we will let them collapse and we won't bail them out. Is what you're saying?
If the banks didn't collapse in 2008, they're not going to collapse right
now. No,
it was worse in 2008, Rob. It was worse in 2008.
No, it's four
We
times
bailed
worse.
them out.
It's 4 times worse than 2008. It's 4 times worse. We bailed them out. The government bailed them out. Citigroup got $3.6 trillion.
Yep.
So, and they're getting ready. They're going to have to get another bailout again. That's socialism.
And guess
That's
what?
not capitalism. Because
it's a monopoly. It's the rich becoming richer, like they're buying assets, but it's not necessarily benefiting the people of the country. Yeah. Like one of the things I heard Russell Brand talking, and he said if this was like the old days where before there weren't always taxes, you guys, like Congress and stuff, they would have to okay things. They would have to put a proposal together, and then they would have to get bonds, and they would have to secure money for this. So if this country, if we wanted to go to war or whatever, they had to get the blessing of the people. So this whole thing that's happening in the Ukraine, all this nonsense, this bullshit, if this went down to vote, if this went down to the people, this would not be happening right now. Money for transgender surgeries, all this stuff, it would not be happening right now. So the structure has shifted over to where the people have less and less of a voice in things. And if we went back to that, most of this nonsense would just go away.
Yeah.
Almost
are you saying you don't want Greenland? You don't want to buy Greenland?
Hey, we might want to get Greenland. I have a question for the audience. Greenland.
Yeah, it's
I have a question for the audience.
Cold, and you can't get anything done there without
I'm not opposed to Pedro living on the banks of the Gulf of America.
I wouldn't know the difference. Like buying Greenland or whatever. I mean, that's expanding territory. That's a good business move, right?
It's not.
Dude, like America has strategic.
It's like sitting in your freezer. It's house is no bigger.
America
don't they have oil reserves? I heard
they have rare earth minerals.
Well, think about it. If they have all that stuff, why would they sell?
They have rare earth minerals. And that's the only reason why we would go there is to keep them away from China or Russia.
Except
that's the only reason.
Except
that's a good reason.
Except if we could mine them in that temperature, they would already be mined. We would already be mining the shit out of Greenland if it wasn't so unbelievably expensive because it's so cold.
Hey, Rob, think about this. Wait, hold on. I got a good point. Rob, think about this. Think about this. Okay, are you listening?
Can we go to Mars?
No. Just think, if we bought Greenland, you know how they're talking about all this water problem? All we have to do is melt it. We'll just melt it and we'll have infinite amount of water.
Who has a
Just
water
one
problem?
Big hose.
Greenland.
No, I don't have a water problem. Florida has
California
water.
does.
No, there's a lot of, California has a water
Rob's
problem.
got water in his backyard.
LA wouldn't have a water problem if they hadn't paved their rivers with concrete.
Yeah.
So LA could fix things.
That's not true. I lived there all my life. There was an aqueduct built, and if that aqueduct wasn't built, there would be no LA, there would be no Southern California, there'd be none of that because life could not exist.
No. They've said it over and over. LA gets enough rainwater if it wasn't all concrete.
They could do better than they are. But
they won't be in a drought. They get enough water.
They're getting their water from other places. So my point is, let's just start cutting up Greenland, the frozen tundra, and just put it on boats.
No,
and ship it to California and just drop it in a reservoir, let it melt. There you go.
No. That's prohibitively expensive. It doesn't work that way.
Rob, how about building an aqueduct to California? You don't think that was expensive?
It wasn't a good idea either.
It was a good idea because
No, it
LA
wasn't.
exists.
That's
LA
why you
exists because of the aqueduct. If there was no aqueduct, there'd be no Hollywood. There'd be none of that stuff. There'd be no.
It
real
would be
stuff.
somewhere else. It would just be somewhere else. Maybe not.
You know
in the
why
desert.
they mine for gold in the Yukon? Because gold
Is worth so much.
Gas, there's a difference. So you can use a lot of gas to mine all that gold that's in the Yukon and still make a huge profit. So anywhere
for
you
gold,
mine,
yes.
anywhere
Hey,
you
guys,
mine,
are
must
you
be-
aware? Are you aware that this isn't the first time America has tried to buy Greenland?
Oh, we
it is
tried to buy
done.
Greenland multiple times. Yep.
Yeah,
I
three
just saw
times.
that
In
today,
1882, in
Yep.
1903, and there's two other
like three or four times we've tried to
Yeah.
buy Greenland.
I
built
think
a
we should
giant
buy.
military base there.
These
And,
are good investments. Okay,
they
good
couldn't.
investments. Buy Canada and Mexico.
Mm.
No,
Yes.
we're already bankrupt. We have no money. We can't buy shit.
I
You
would
are
say,
just a
I
big
would say-
colossal naysayer. Oh,
I'm sorry. Hey, I'm tired of paying taxes.
We buy
Okay, thanks.
Tijuana. We buy Tijuana. We buy the
Tijuana.
Philippines, and then we buy Taiwan. Or no,
Taiwan would not be a bad investment.
no, not Taiwan.
Oh yeah, sure. How many 1.5 billion Chinese say otherwise? We would
I'm
have
just
to-
saying it'd be a good
I'm just
investment. I
thinking
mean,
about
they build just about all of the
All the
core
chips.
electronics.
No, this is
what's that
in this
one
world,
Southeast Asian
you
country
own
with all the
nothing you can't
warehouses?
defend. This is the real
Oh,
world where you
Thailand.
own nothing you can't defend.
Yes, the Thailand, not Taiwan. Thailand,
Oh, what's time?
Tijuana, Thailand, and the Philippines.
Oh, I see where your head's at.
I see what
see
you're
where your
after.
head's at.
Buy Colombia too, but while you're at it, yeah, and Brazil.
I don't want to have a passport everywhere I go.
Well, well, we are saving South America. We are saving South America as like money in the bank for later, because
Yeah.
we actually have highways to go there. No more. We don't have to ship everything.
Well,
So,
all the way up to down to my country. Then you have
Pedro's
the
going to
Darien
be a
Gap.
U.S. citizen.
it's
like
okay. It's okay.
Oh
Pedro's
no,
gonna
dude!
be a
You know,
U.S.
okay.
citizen, not too distant.
guys, I will love to be a U.S. citizen if you sort out Puerto Rico first. Okay, like
No,
Nah,
no,
see
we can't
Puerto
do that.
Rico can sit there and stew.
yeah, dude, that's the thing. Like they've been trying to be U.S. citizens for how many years? If you're for that to Panama, that's the first time we're gonna see. Like, oh, what about? We're gonna be. Like,
I want to
Puerto
come
Rico.
down to Panama and hang out on the beaches with you, Pedro.
Oh, dude, like I'm in talks with the guys at the Comic-Con down here to get like a huge CG delegation. Like, it might happen. Like, we gotta get like Ron Abuelo, which is like a local rum, to sponsor it.
We'll crack some coconuts.
Yeah,
Coconuts.
yeah, we got coconuts and senoritas. Like, I'm getting
What
a whole
is
plan.
Diamond? Does Diamond
the
distribute the comics there, or who distributes the comics?
It's
Oh, no, like-
Diamundo.
Okay, that down here you can get comic books at pharmacies, and there's a couple of hobby shops that will, but it's all by mail. So no, they don't go to Diamond for that. But I don't
Are there comic book shops? Are there actual comic shops?
there's hobby shops where you can get like role playing game, like paraphernalia, and whatnot, and you can find comics there, but it's not like a dedicated comic book shop.
Okay.
But you can get like and it's like you can get like the Superman, Spider-Man, whatnot. If you want something special, you can order it through them, but it's easier for you to just go online and get it.
Oh yeah.
And that's how it works down here.
So do they have their own distribution? Is that how they get that stuff, or who are they using? Do you know?
I'll have to talk to them because I've never like figured out. I've always seen like distributing comics in Latin America like a monkey business.
It's
like,
probably
why
it's
bother?
probably like a subdivision
Yeah.
distributor that
Yeah.
but only takes the highest selling stuff. Like
Though-
you're not getting
Though Clint, there's a printing company called Norma. that-
so they're printing and shipping out of the
that
state.
they translate the comics
Oh,
into Spanish
so they
and then
just
distribute
keep
Oh,
the
them.
that's even
rights.
better.
Yeah, they
That's
make
what I
the
was
rights.
just going to say, because in the 90s when Black and White came out, I had a deal with one of these companies, and they would translate it, put it into whatever the market's language was,
Oh,
and then
really?
they would ship them out, and then I would get my
Actually-
12 cents in royalties.
You guys know Russ Leach?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Russ did the that like Conan like book. I forget the name now.
Yeah,
Sorry, Russ.
like I can't remember the name of it. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, but he, Called the Conqueror, I think it's
Yeah.
called, or something. Well, they got contacted by a Brazilian company that wanted to translate the comic book and distribute it in Brazil. So that's something that could be looked into. The thing is, Panama is only 3 million people. It's very small.
Yeah,
I have to look into South America. So Argentina is a huge comic book consumer.
Now, if we can get every one of those Panamanians to buy a comic.
No, dude, Argentina is the thing is that Argentina is broke right now. Argentina is broke, but they're 42 million.
Yeah,
and they're getting better, but culturally, they're avid readers. They like reading. They read books and they read comics.
Well, hold on. These are
legitimate markets for indie creators like us. If I could get Pirate Queen down there and have all the books already created.
Yeah,
and then
but I'll have to travel to Argentina because I don't have any contacts but there's like a book fair they do. I think it's in June. They have like a huge book fair in Buenos Aires. Like it wouldn't be bad for me to take a trip down there and find out what's what. Because as they said, they're avid readers. We only need like an editor to translate the books and get like limited printing down here.
If Pedro, I'll tell you right now, if you can sell any of my books in South America, I will give you a very healthy cut.
Oh, nice.
51.49 cut.
Nice. I just wanted to give.
If you can sell my books in South America for any extent, we can do all kinds of business.
That's why there's digital.
Hey, you guys, hold on for a second. Before we go any further, I want to give Russ Leash some love here.
Oh yeah,
it's called the Atlantean. And this is it's the Cole the Conqueror story. So they can't they can't use Conan or Cole or any of that stuff. So they call it the Atlantean. And so this is the book that they're putting out.
I love Russ Leach's art. He's old school. He's got that kind of old school kind of Buscema
aesthetic,
kind of vibe to him.
Is it
classic
Marvel?
60s Marvel kind of stuff. I love his stuff.
The reason Marvel doesn't pay foreign royalties is because they made that deal with that Italian printer.
Panini.
Where they print all of Marvel's books until they will stop.
Also,
they only have to pay one flat
actually, Russ, I think has worked for them in the past. I do believe Panini even makes their own comics.
Yeah.
So they'll hire local talent and writers and things like that, and they'll put books together like a Batman book or Spider-Man book or whatever.
No, but they have their own titles too.
Yeah, so they distribute the actual books themselves, but they also will make new stuff.
Also, Italy, huge comic book market. If you can get your foot in, they're called fumetti over there, and
of course they are.
People of all ages read comics down there. France is also, but France is very snobbish, and it's not French. It's not what my time.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The channels are way more open, and dude, like huge comic book shops, a really avid like readership, very loyal. So.
Yeah,
but I don't know anything.
Knowing how to like get your books into those markets is half the trick.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you get in there, then it's probably really pretty simple. But like knowing, like I would love to sell. I have 10 years worth of books that I've done crowdfunding for that have just been in this market. If there was a European market or a South American market or Central American market for these books,
if only there's a digital format we could use and they could actually see all this stuff on television.
You're right.
Where every household could look at their comic books on a giant screen TV, and we all could make millions of dollars.
You want print books in these shops. You want the retailers to order those print books. Digital is a dream. Digital is a dream that never pays off. I
Well,
don't
let me
agree
just
with
ask you,
digital.
does it have to be an either or? Like one of the things we used to talk about, Todd and I, in the old days on Pontificators is like, why does it have to be either or? Like the monthly comics could be digital, and then you could put trades and like specialty comics in the comic shop. So you could be both. And the thing is, like I'm like Rob, man, digital just seems like it hits all the check boxes.
It's a dream.
Except
it's a dream.
Except one, I guess people just aren't doing it.
Yeah,
but
nobody will spend the money to market it. No one will.
No, that's
No one
not
pushes
it. That's not it. Because the audience that we're pushing our books to are comic book collectors.
Yes.
No, well, I'm not saying CG.
Digital
I'm saying
is
the world.
this little smidge of people.
I'm not talking
comic
about
book
CG.
collectors want the actual physical printed books.
It's true. And that's what we'll give them. But we were literally just talking about Italy and France and Germany. That's all.
And
nobody said Germany.
They want the printed
I
books
said Germany in my head.
Okay.
They want the printed books too.
Special Nazi
digital is
version of Death Race.
garbage.
Yeah.
It's a dream. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It does exist. It's all in my head.
Yeah. I can
Death
see
Raider
where
on
I'm
the
going.
big screen. All my mistakes. Giant form.
Show me the book that's been successful off of digital.
I got one really nice digital royalty from DC, and Jim Lee said he promised we would be getting those checks twice a year. I got one ever.
Nice.
We got Rachel's challenging you, Clint. Digital is bigger than Clint realizes.
I know there's a bunch of people that want digital out there, but guess what? They don't want to pay for the books.
No, digital doesn't mean you're renting.
Check this out. Hold on. Like one slick dude, because with digital, you don't own anything. You're just renting the story. That's how all media is going, though. Yeah. I mean, you have streaming channels. You have all this stuff. It's all like you don't own the media anymore.
Well, okay.
Digital,
wait a second.
Digital does not pay enough to have the creator make the book.
But Clint and Art, the trends as of January of 2025, streaming is down 24%. People are tired of not owning their stuff.
Well,
so we're talking about shifts. There's things in the air right now. Like
no, because streaming mostly is just cable, but picking when to watch it. Streaming is not streaming movies. Streaming is Paramount Plus and watching their TV shows that they offer.
If you guys look through your backers and who the majority of your backers are, they're collectors.
Yeah. No, we know this. We're not talking about
people that want to put your comic book in their long box, and that is the audience that I aim my books at.
We all want to print books, but there's going to be people. You just saying that the digital audience doesn't exist at all, and I'm just saying we haven't found that.
It is not big enough to make a difference.
Well, this is my take, and I'm not on one side or the other, really. I mean,
me neither.
Digital seems like it's, if you could make $1, then all of a sudden we'd be having a different conversation. But digital makes a lot of sense in almost every aspect, because if you're looking at cheap, quick, one and done stories like comics used to be, like they were a dime, right? It was all disposable. It was disposable. Well, there's two markets, though. There's two markets. There's the readers that just read. So we're talking about a general audience. So in the sense of digital, it's a general audience. Like you can get it to the masses, quick, easy, relatively inexpensive. You can make it accessible. Like on Disney Plus, if they had the Marvel books that you could download on Disney Plus, then all of a sudden it would be viable, right? So then you have that, but that's kind of like the floppy. That's the monthly one and done, right? But then you have the hard copy. So if somebody wants a hard copy of that digital, they can get that as well. So it doesn't, see, that's, I think, one of the problems with this industry is everybody's like, it's either this or that, but it doesn't have to be. Both these things could work at the same time. It's just nobody's really hit, a milestone with digital. But hold on, my argument, but even the hard copy stuff isn't selling well. So one never really had a chance, which is digital, and two, it is dying. So if you look at something that has more of a future than the other, digital seems like it's more viable to move forward than a floppy. I'm just saying.
Can you imagine?
I'm going next.
No, you're gonna just say
that's a nice.
It's all about
that's a
printing
nice
and
theory.
collectors.
That's a nice theory. But all we have left are the hardcore fans because the industry has been so beaten down.
I'll agree
spent
with
the
you.
whole show talking about how Diamond has been destroyed. All we have left are the hardcore fans. And guess what the hardcore fans are? They're collectors.
I agree, but I also said, wait. I also said
print copy. Digital doesn't matter to the hardcore.
We're not talking about.
You've already made your point, Clint. You said that before.
I know.
But the thing is, it doesn't have to be either or. It doesn't have to be either or. You don't have to stop one to have the other. You could have your hardcores, and you could try to attract a new audience, the younger kids, at a lower price point with the digital. It doesn't have to be one over the other.
The second you show me that works, I'll jump on board.
Wait. Hold on. Can you imagine Disney?
I've had a couple of cocktails, so don't everybody get mad at me.
No one's mad at you, Clint.
Take more sips and take a few breaths. We're good.
Hey, Rob, go ahead.
Could you imagine Disney Plus, where you get to read the monthly comic books, and then when you get to issue 12, a window pops up and says, "Would you like to order the 1 through 12 hardcover?" And all you have to do is click on it because it's connected to your payment for the streaming anyways, and it ships to your house.
That's how manhwa gets you.
That's how easy it could be. That's how easy it could be if they would get off their ads.
But Rob, you just described the manhwa market, and manhwa is not Japanese. Manhwa is Korean.
Okay.
They have their websites. The comics are free. If anything catches the public, then hey, would you like to buy the book? And that's their model. But they have an industry backing up the artist, so they won't start.
Unfortunately, our industry never backs up anybody.
Yeah. Well, that's also the argument for manga. There's an industry, there's a government, there's power behind those movements, and everybody's like, well, manga's selling. It's like it's a completely different beast. It's a completely different culture. So I don't even think that's apples to apples.
No, not really.
But I do understand what you're saying, Clint, and I do agree. But I just think that it doesn't necessarily have to be an either or. I think both of these things could be at the same time. But all printed medium is suffering from the same effects. So obviously, printed medium as an industry isn't viable anymore, and it's not going to be viable moving forward. So if this is going to keep going, we keep the market we have, we keep the fans that we have, and we keep them happy, but we have to figure out a way to move forward. And I think people are more internet, they're more computer savvy and all that stuff, and they shop on the internet. And I think that it does make a lot of sense from a marketing standpoint to go digital. But you're right, that market hasn't taken off. So until it does, it's obviously not viable. You know what I mean? Like
you almost have to come up with like a unique digital version where it's collectible too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't know enough about how you would do that, but like the way, like, what were the cards that came out not too long ago? Like almost make it like a Bitcoin comic. Where you're getting a comic, but it's also like the currency. It's a collectible. Like literally, you're not getting like a little card that is like what were the cards that were not too long ago where it was they were NFTs? Trying to like horn in on the Bitcoin stuff.
Well, they already did the digital art, and that's already died.
But what was that called? Like
NFTs.
NFT.
Yeah.
So you almost like. You create a comic book that is a tradable Bitcoin
fungible
or an NFT or something like that. That could be an idea where all of a sudden it's individualized, it's a collectible. They aren't mass produced. They're in a limited thing.
Right.
And
it's a good idea.
It's collectible, and if one of them hits, only 500 or 5,000 were printed. So guess what? If your one that you bought hits, there's only 5,000 of them out there, and yours becomes that more valuable. Like,
it makes sense.
If you want to do digital, that would be the road for digital. It
could be one, but I'm going to make my argument for digital is comic books was built on the one and dones, meaning there was no collectible. There was none of that existed. It was just sheer entertainment. It was cheap, portable entertainment, and it connected with people. So my thing is, if we're going to get more people back into this art form, into reading comics and being entertained by these heroic stories, then we need to have a better entry point price-wise and content-wise for a younger audience. So you could reach these things inexpensively. And like my daughter, she liked Neopets in the day, right? So if she did good in school or whatever, we would reward her where she could buy a new Neopet or something, play the game with it, right? So you could do something similar. Like my parents always bribed me. If you're good in the store, we'll get you a comic book, right? Mm-hmm. So you can do these things again, and you can make these accessible to kids, because kids is growth. Dealing with just a collector market is not growth, because you're just, and I don't mean this as bad, I just mean it as it's the same clientele you've always had. So at some point they age out. At some point they age out and they die. But if you can keep bringing new people in, which is what comics has always done, and that was the mission statement and the business model, even when I started, and I started probably like 40 years, 30 years into comics existing. So at that point, I'm talking about mainstream, like Marvel superhero comics. So then you could do that again. You could make these things $1 or $2, which is by these days, it's like 10 cents, people say, hey, you could download 5 of your favorite books, Jimmy, if you get me some good grades or whatever. And then they could download. And then like what Rob was saying, and I've said for years as well, you could have all these extra things. You could have option. You could buy a compilation, a hard copy, or a special collectible copy of the book, or whatever it is. And also, this is what I've said, where how you used to have editor notes or third person narratives. You could do that, and you could cross-reference the books. So if you have like a 2-part story and you read Spider-Man, you end and there's a cliffhanger, you could click right on that link and it will take you to that next book. So then basically you're doing what the old Marvel books did, where if Daredevil wasn't selling good, you have Daredevil guest star in Spider-Man, and then you have the continued story in a Daredevil book. So you're bringing audience over to Daredevil. So you can do like that more effectively. I think you can get back to kind of the roots of what comic books was with the downloadable stuff. And let's face it, I mean, kids today are not going to be in a world like ours where they have physical things. I just don't think it's going to be their reality. I think a lot of it is going to be downloadable. And let's face it, this shit is disposable. Why do you think all that Disney Plus stuff? One, it's bad. But two, like you're saying, Clint, there's no value in it. You know what I mean? They're not collectible. There's nothing special about them. It's just kind of one and done entertainment. But that still does have merit. You know what I mean? That still has.
And digital, you can get that price point down. And you have a generation that grew up on these Marvel movies that know Captain America, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Iron Man. They know all this stuff. So if you get into a digital thing, and this is where you were going with it. If you could get into that digital level where it brings the price point so much lower because you're not printing, but you still give it a little bit of that collectible element, like making an NFT or a digital.
No, don't say NFT.
Oh. No, don't say NFT anymore. It's already the market's already dead. Everyone's
just because a negative connotation with it, but
NFT's already.
But like
everybody's
Bitcoin,
already got scammed.
But Bitcoin,
Bitcoin's getting ready for scams.
Oh well, yeah. Well, I don't have any answers for anybody.
Well, the thing is,
you do have an answer. It's digital on your television. When you go to buy the hardcover after you've read the 12 issues, you can buy the hardcover. Would you like to buy the hardcover premium package with the mug and the action figure,
and
the poster and the mattress, the sheets, and the
underoos? But let me read this. Rachel Brinkley says you can't sell a physical copy for that price either. Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just one and done throwaway entertainment. When I was a kid, comics had no value. They were just kind of like you read them for the 15, 20 minutes it took you, and then that was it, right? There was no aftermarket. There was no collectability. There was none of that stuff. You traded with your friends, but there was a disposableness about it.
Yeah,
it was always
in your back pocket. Yeah.
What's that?
You rolled them and you put them in your back pocket.
Yeah, they were portable entertainment, and they only had the value that you gave to them. You know what I mean? If you enjoyed the comic book, that was it.
Rachel, when she's talking about you can't sell a physical copy for that price, she's talking about Michael Klan saying I can't sell a digital comic for hundreds of dollars. And she says you can't sell a physical comic for that much either.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a two-part thing.
It was a back and forth. Most new comics you aren't selling for.
Well, thanks for the clarification. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they only have value because of the nostalgia. You know what I mean? They only have value because somebody grew up with those things and kind of missed out on them.
We recycled all of them from the golden age.
Right.
They all went into recycling programs.
And that's why there was rarity with comics of old, because the comics, they didn't have the value. So they were kind of disposable, one and done forms of entertainment. And that's kind of it. Like a newspaper. A newspaper was treated the same way. You read the newspaper. Once you read the newspaper, the funnies and stuff like that, you discarded it. So comics were kind of the same thing. They were even on newsprint. They just didn't have that kind of value. So they were just kind of cheap forms of entertainment. And these digital could be the same. But I don't see how it would discredit the collectible market, because you could still make books for the collectible market. You could still make hard copies of books. It doesn't have to be either or. And I don't think that one would destroy the other. I just think for both of them, I can make the same argument. There just is nobody marketing and selling hard copies or digital. There's just no voice out there. The reason Comicsgate kicks ass is because we have 5 guys right on this Pontificators, and we're all talking about CG, right? We're all talking about these comic books. We're the voice. You know what I mean? We're the Stan Lee of what we do. And the thing is, the industry just doesn't have that. They don't have anybody marketing and selling.
No. Unfortunately, Marvel and DC, I feel like they've really given up. It's editors hired for their next job. Mm-hmm. They're just thinking about their next job. Yeah.
And you know what, Rob? I mean, let's be honest. And even Clint, we were kind of mercenaries in the day. We were mercs. We're just trying to make the best money we could on the best books possible.
I was trying to pay my rent.
We cared about comics.
I was trying to pay my rent.
We were mercenaries, but we loved the comic book industry. That's not where most of, I would say, the Marvel and DC.
Right. I agree. I completely agree. I mean, we grew up on it, and there was a certain pleasure in doing those things because, I mean, come on, let's face it. A lot of us had skills beyond like just doing comic books. We could have made more doing advertising and stuff like that. You know, I mean, we chose.
Or working on cars.
Yeah. No, I mean, art related stuff, you know, we could have done. We could frame houses. We could.
Well, I honestly, even when I broke into comic books, and I was so excited to get into comic books, and I still love comic books, but I saw a trend with the editors even in 1995 because they felt like they got burned by all the Image guys. So, I mean, that's when they took the stories, and all of a sudden they slowed the stories down.
Oh, and it affected.
One story would have to now last 8 issues for the trades. Like they were already giving up in comics in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
In 95, you know, because we went to this huge boom where the top guys were superstars and they were millions of dollars and it was all fantastic and it was all great. And then what happens when the superstars say, hey, wait a minute, I want more than what you're going to give me.
The terrible thing was, and I mean, it's a thing in any industry, is instead of the priority being, let's make the best books we can, the priority was like, let's make sure I protect my job.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how Hollywood is this.
And you would think the two things would correlate, but it didn't for a lot of it.
You know how it used to correlate, Clint, is you were only as good as your last job.
Yeah.
So when you were working as a freelance, you made sure that was the best damn job you could do, because otherwise you weren't going to work the next month. And we were all working month to month. And that's a scary way to make a living. Most people will never understand the fear that freelancers have.
But you get the creative best out of your freelancers is the other side of the coin. It's a horrible way to make a living. But God, those freelancers were busting their hump to make the best.
No, it was just a hard living. Yeah. I loved every minute. Well, most.
Oh, no, it's terrible. It's terrible. But that was the best comics. All those
fear is a great motivator. What can I say?
The best comics out there.
Well, I remember. What was it? Greg Capullo was asked, and he said, "What motivates you?" Is that like a panel or like an interview or something? He goes, fear.
Yes.
Fear the fear of not working next month, fear of not paying the bills, fear. And I thought that was a very honest answer.
Yeah.
But I want to say something. You were saying like stuff about like trends, like these stories that would kind of go longer, and then they would package them for trades, and they would do all this stuff. The problem with comics, I've been doing this long enough, is everything becomes these either or scenarios, right? They go, this is popular right now, so that's the template. Let's emulate that, right? Well, they could have long-form storytelling, but if Marvel had proper leadership, they could go, let's do one and dones as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Let's do this as well. Like let's see what
sells better.
It's also writers with
sells better.
2 ideas taking advantage of the format. They literally only have 2 ideas anyway, so let's stretch those out into 16 issues.
Yeah,
because so many of the comic books they worked on were so effing boring.
Well, where I'm going with this is that it ends up burning people out, right? So you have all these long stories, or you have these one and dones, or you have whatever. I'm saying keep it fresh, mix them up all the time. Like, don't have everything just this one format. Have them multiple different formats. Like you could have digital, you could have, direct market. You could have all of this stuff happening at the same time. Diversification is always the key to success anyway, right? So like what we're doing with CG is diversification, man. We're wearing all kinds of different hats. You know what I mean? We're marketing, sales. I'm writing, I'm penciling, I'm inking. Yeah. I'm overseeing color. I'm working with vendors.
I spent the whole day lettering.
Yeah. So you're doing all of these different things. So you're diversifying what you do as an artist, right? And that's how you're making your money. The industry always gets like this. Even Hollywood's like that. Oh, there's this burning building movie. It did really well. Let's have another burning building movie. So then you see these trends go. Music does the same thing, and that's all these executives know. You know what I mean? They see these success and then they go for them. But that's not real leadership. Real leadership is like, well, you know what? Let's introduce something else. Let's do this. Let's do that. One of the things is I applauded the New 52 in inception, because it was like, we're going to go digital day and day. We're going to resurrect some of these old things. We're going to do, all of this stuff. We're going to do one and dones. All those were great ideas. One of the things I thought that they did wrong is they were messing with the continuity, right? And they were going, well, some of it stays, some of it doesn't, whatever. Yeah. right up front, you'd go, this is going to be a clusterfuck. Like there's nobody's going to understand any of this. So, but the other ideas were pretty good. And that's leadership. Even when, remember DiDio went, let's do like, remember the newspaper comic book that they put out? Remember it was kind of like a newspaper and it was folded.
Oh yeah. That's
I mean, that was kind of a cool novelty idea. I thought that was pretty badass.
Yeah.
I must have thrown it out. I don't remember it.
It didn't last. It didn't last long.
But it's just the idea of somebody thinking outside of the box, somebody trying something new.
Yeah. But I remember let's keep Batman and Green Lantern continuity because they're selling right now, and let's change everything else because it doesn't even matter. And it's like,
the books that were good,
comic fans will love it. They'll love you doing that.
Well, the books that were good before 52 were the books that were good during 52.
Exactly.
They didn't have enough writers who had good ideas. They just stuck people on certain things, and you're like, what the F? Why is this? All of a sudden, this book just went back to the 80s.
Yeah,
it's 2007, 2008.
Because the thing is, when they did that with Crisis on Infinite Earths, they got people in that had a vision. There was already a revamping of the universe. Yeah. There was a lot of things that were put in place before John Byrne took over Superman, before Frank Miller took over Batman.
Devoted.
And so there was continuity that you got a sense of these characters. With the New 52, they were just kind of like they threw it at the wall. And another thing is they didn't have follow through, so the one and dones became ongoing storylines quickly. Like when they didn't get the automatic cells or whatever, they were changing it too quickly, and I think these ideas are going to take a little bit of time. You have to keep it going and see if it sticks. I mean, within the first year, they were changing their ideas, So then I think as far as fans, you start looking wishy-washy. You know what I mean? You're like, well, you got us sold on this idea, and now you're not even executing the idea that you sold us on. Now you're changing it. And all the changes, like you guys have already said, they're going back to what they were before. You know what I mean? Like they're not even going in different directions.
Yeah, some books weren't even creative. Some books were like, dude, this is an idea from the 80s. Like the comic book, the creators, like, I don't want to say specifically, but you could just look at the books and go, are you shitting me? I don't know if this would have sold in the 80s, and you're trying to sell it to us in 2007. This is like literally. Too many of those books felt like someone took old plots and just put different characters' names on them.
And 100%, they were
reused the plot. Yeah.
They were writers that had an inroad with an editor at the right time, and they were pitching them old plots, and the editors the editors just needed to get something going. This happens in comics all the time.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Writers don't come up with new ideas all the time. And if they've got an editor who's desperate to get we have to make a change. Oh, I've got this guy.
Well,
pitch me something.
Nobody says, the editors don't say, hey, I just got these 4 amazing ideas. Let's do these 4 amazing books. They say, I've been told I have to publish 4 new books this quarter.
Exactly.
So now I have to go find people to do these 4 books.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's not creative comes to them and says, oh my God, this idea is going to be incredible. And the editor's like, that is incredible. Let's do it. It's the exact opposite. It's Marvel and DC.
It's a corporate mandate. It's a corporate mandate. And you're right. I mean, that you can see that in film, you can see it in television, you can see it in music, where the executives have such high opinions of themselves. They think that they know better than the talent. And editors used to be allowed to make their own decisions. They weren't micromanaged by like on high.
A group editor.
Editor. And so that they could make these decisions, what they thought were best for whatever franchise they were entrusted in. Like Superman or X-Men or whatever it was. And I think that's a way better way to do things. But you know what?
But you can't replace those guys.
Right.
Yeah, you can't just fire their asses and go, you're making too much money, you're out.
Right. Exactly.
You replace the guys who don't know anything about the book and they're just managing deadlines.
Yeah, well, let's get into some new books you guys should look at, and if you like what you see, you should back. We got Black and White Sins of the Father. We're now in demand. Got the video.
Sweet.
That's for you, Clint, right there.
Tiny.
That one's for you, Rob, right there.
Oh, titties.
Yeah. Scrumptious.
Love it.
Sweet. That looks awesome.
Ow.
Thanks, man.
I've never said a comic book needs less TNA.
But the thing is,
and you can quote me on that.
oh, we will. But the thing is, you guys, this is not cookie cutter Marvel DC. That we don't need no diamond distribution. We don't need anybody. All we need is you and the creators. So we are creating these books just for you. And when I say just for you, that's not an exaggeration. It is just for you. We are creating this for CG. I mean, we're welcoming everybody to come in that wants to, but it is definitely for that market. And that's what we're doing. And so I really did like CG when that whole pencils down and that lockdown and all that stuff happened. The thing is, CG kept going. We were still selling books. We were still creating books, and that whole shift did not even really affect us. And so this is a strong ass movement. I do believe this is the way to move forward. We talk about Diamond and how sad it might be for some of these independents moving forward and things like that. But I really do think that's the old paradigm. And I don't think that's going to serve this industry moving forward. I've seen enough in my 40 years, and I've come to terms with that. I don't want it to happen. I don't want, that old stuff to go away. I don't want, comic shops to die or go away.
Oh,
but,
I love comic stores.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's a competitive market. People aren't shifting. They aren't changing enough to attract a new or different audience. The thing is, we are with CG. I mean, these YouTube channels are their platforms to market and sell our new product, but it's also a way to entertain and connect with you guys. So this is unique. This is, I do believe, the way to move forward. And High Octane Adventures 1 and 2 were done by CG's own Pedro Ang. I mean, we found him, or he found us, through the chats, through hanging out. So there's talent that's being discovered within Comicsgate, and it's amazing. Pedro is freaking, he is so freaking talented. Hey, Pedro, do you mind? I'm gonna after this, I'm gonna show one of the new pages.
Oh, do it, please.
Yeah. So here's some of the interior pages that Pedro's turned in. And then we have 4 jaw-dropping covers. We have the A cover, which is the main cover. We got the B, which is the one that both of these I drew, and I had Kyle Ritter do the color work. And then, of course, we have the Carlo Barberi, my super friend's buddy from DC Comics. He said he would do a cover, and he nailed it, man. He hit a home run here. I got to ink him again, which was so much fun. And then a good friend of mine, John Malin, came in here and hit an absolute grand slam with this D cover. So I do appreciate everybody back and everybody supporting all the talent that I've worked with on this book. Absolutely A-list. Here's better shots of the B cover with
that B cover's so good.
Yeah, dude.
Lord Faken. We got the immortal Lord Faken, and we got the voodoo priestess Juju raising the dead, wreaking havoc on Black and White. And then we have the Carlo Barberi, which, God, I mean, when when Brian suggested, hey, how about just no, I said something about a different color background because this wasn't the original color, but I didn't say white. And then I got this one back and I was like, oh shit, this is so freaking on.
It's slick.
It's very
perfect. It's so directly simple. It's just effective beyond all belief.
Perfect
and then
for a
good for
sticker.
merchandise too, by the way.
Yeah, perfect for a sticker and mugs.
Yeah.
And toilet paper.
And toilet. You can wipe your butt. You can wipe your butt with black and white. And so here's the D cover. This is the great John Malin, and this was a trade. I'm going to do a godlike cover for John for the next campaign. So he came in and did this, and I hope to basically hold my own with his godlike characters. So that
Battle the cats.
Yeah, all the cats. Yeah. Wow. And so if you guys are into original artwork, we got some original covers here that you could buy. And then, of course, the Jam has the Juju 11 by 17 full bleed print there that you can get. And you can only get it with that Jam. And we unlocked 3 stretch goals. So the last 4 or 5 days, maybe 6 now, we went into overdrive. So we were unlocking these things like crazy. And we went beyond what I thought we were able to do. So 25K, we got the 30 years, the anniversary. And you guys, we closed out at a little bit above 30K. So 30 and 30. And we unlocked the 30 stretch goal, which is the upgraded paper and cover stock. So you guys, please come by. My mods, thank you, are putting the link in into the chat. Also, the link is in the description. So come by if you like what you've seen with Black and White, Sins of the Father, Volume 3. So I was going to show you Pedro's new pages here. Let me find lovely Pedro. You have hair in the picture on X. What is that?
I do. Hair.
Hair, yeah, like on your head.
On my head.
On your head.
That's slander, sir.
That's slanderous.
It's not hair, it's a pineapple, sir.
Oh, is it? Okay. Why would somebody put a pineapple on their head?
I put a pineapple myself on my hair.
It's a swingers thing. Don't ask them.
No. The thing is, like, I was in a panel once.
Is that the upside down watermelon?
No, and a liberal said, like, why is that pineapple head talking about black people? And I was like, I'm black. He said pineapple head because I'm from Latin America.
Oh.
And I kind of liked it, so I put a pineapple on my head.
You got
now
peanut
a pineapple
butter.
head.
You got peanut.
Own
butter,
it.
You got peanut butter skin like Joy Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys, real quick, this is Pedro's newest page that he turned in. Absolutely amazing. These new characters, Pedro, are freaking genius. I wish I had a toy deal. I would love to manufacture like all these little like gremlin type characters. I think it would be badass. Of course, black and white as well.
No, designing these characters was very cool because it was an exercise in megalomania because each one of them represented different type of like inflated ego. And it goes with the names I gave them and the signs. So the story is very interesting in that regard. Even though it's a short one, it's really packed with little innuendos you'll pick here and there.
Hey, what are the 5 characters, the new characters, the villains of the piece?
The villains. So you have the one with the Spartan helmet. And now you're putting me on the spot because I forgot the name. I know the one with the snakes is Hippocrates because he's supposed to be a doctor. And the one with the little thing, like horizontal thing, is called Marconi because he's the head of communications. So Marconi invented the radio, so that's why he's Marconi. The guy with the little friar cut is Torquemada. And this is the boss. The big boss is Alexander because he feels he's like a conqueror, Alexander the Great. So, and Caesar, the one with the helmet is Caesar. So
right, I love all the tribal markings and stuff. This is great design. What are they? They're techno. What are they called?
Technomates.
Technomates. So just real quick, they were designed to help ye, and just like Gremlins, somebody fed them after midnight, spilled some water on them, and all hell broke loose. So it's a great story. It's a fun story. If you like Pedro, you're a fan of his work. That animated style just lends itself to black and white so well. And just good to have you on board. And this book is looking and shaping up to be great. So, Clint, are you ready for the spotlight?
Always.
Well, here you go.
Oh yeah, it's my book. Ow!
I think his buzz is kicking in, man.
Yeah, he's buzz kicked in a while ago.
Oh, there he goes. Here, I'll play the video.
Yeah, please do.
She's just a girl.
In the world.
One super powered babe. Blue blurry. Those aren't.
Jim Lee lives.
So this
that looks awesome. That looks awesome, Clint.
So this is kind of one of my proudest projects because it definitely incorporates my sense of humor with my sense of comics and action and like art and everything. So it's there's a lot of tongue in cheek going on, but there's still like a big action adventure story going on with it. So I've been working on the book. Probably end of January here, I'm going to start like sending out some of the pages, and because it's still in demand, you know, there's still an audience for this, but I'm going to do a little bit different where I never released a lot of the artwork after the campaign was it's still in demand, but it kind of closed. I'm going to do a little differently this time and just kind of throw a lot more of the artwork from the book out there so people can kind of get an idea of what's going on with it. If I would have been more prepared, which I am not at all, I've got a really fun page, and maybe I'll save it for teaser for the next episode of the Pontificators. I've got a really kind of fun page that I think everybody will get a laugh out of. And that's what Blue Bombshell is kind of, it's a twist on the whole superhero, like what you guys know about superhero comics. I almost equate it to my version of, oh God, I'm going to forget the name of it. The Venture Brothers, where they would they would take the twists on the superhero, like Phantom Limb and like what was it, the Left Winger, and you know, they would take versions.
The worst ones were the Fantastic Four takes.
Yes,
God, that
was awesome.
I have a Fantastic Four version, and that's kind of where I was going with this art.
The Human Torch, when he'd light him, he's like,
I have my team called the Family Dynamic, and they're kind of a twist, and it's like taking those things that everybody knows in comics and just kind of having a fun twist on them. So yeah, I've got a lot of that in Blue Bombshell.
Yeah, it looks so fun, Clint. I think your head's in the right place with it. I mean, there's a little bit of like a tribute, you know, in there. Yeah. And we know that you're doing everything with love because you're a big fan of these things. And and you wouldn't be able to successfully do it. Like there are people that satirize things and stuff. They're just angry, right? You can see it, like the spirit of it's all wrong. But that's not the way Blue Bombshell is. I mean, it is done with love, and you can tell. Rob, do you have anything to show or to?
No. No.
I just want to say right now, you guys click this link, go back black and white right now. I'm waiting. We're not going to move forward until you do.
Oh, guys, I have an announcement.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah,
Finally.
if you guys are interested in learning how to animate, the first episode of Pedro's Animation Dojo is up on YouTube at the Pedro Ang channel. It's going to be a bi-weekly class where we're going to be covering the principles of animation. So it's classical animation, 2D. So if you draw, this is an opportunity to just get a new set of skills. And once everybody's ready with the principles, we're going to start doing the real karate. So we're going to be doing challenges and doing like, okay, so fist fight. And then you have to come up with your own designs. Let's do a fist fight in animation. There's going to be collaboration. It's going to be really, really fun. That's how I learned how to animate back in 2003. And I've been doing this for over 20-something years. So it's going to be fun, guys, and you're going to learn something real cool. So
Pedro, do you have a link? Could you put that into the private chat, and I can throw it in the...
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you guys come prepared with stuff. So one of the things is we got to get better at this promotion stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll get to you too, Todd. Trust me. And if I don't, just start yelling at me. Just say, hey, what the hell's
right there? It's right there, Art.
Got it. So this is your YouTube
channel.
Copy, and let me drop it in
the chat.
Paste. Yeah, you guys, I just dropped it in. Here we go. Let me see comments. Yeah, here it is right here. So you guys click this. Go give Pedro a sub or two, and get it going preemptively. So when he launches all that stuff and goes live with it, you'll be right there to learn.
Episode 1, like I streamed for myself. It was very weird, but the thing is, like, I want to get all like the animation principles videos up and running so people can start practicing. And when we're starting with the fun, like everybody, we're on the right place. Please feel free, if you have any questions, hit me up on X at Ngila, and that way I can clarify anything that's just like, I don't know, any doubts you have.
Well, you got it sub. Art of Roy sub, so that's awesome. Good, you guys. It doesn't cost you anything to go over there and sub. It does help. So make sure you hit that bell for notifications and all those other good things. So when Pedro goes live or when he posts a new video, you guys will get the alerts. We got Randy Howe subbed. Very, very good, you guys.
Awesome.
So Todd, what do you got as a parting shot?
Oh, I got this card that I did that I'm trying to sell.
Nice.
It's on eBay.
Neat.
It's got three layers of acrylic in the lightning, which the paper held up really well. Sometimes too much acrylic will kind of lift. It's kind of like
damn, Todd.
But yeah, I've been trying to get rid of this card. I didn't do as well as I was hoping to do during the holidays. So you guys hit me up if you're interested in any of my social medias, and I'll give you a deal on this card for $50.
Wow, that's killer.
Very good.
That is such killer work on these cards, Todd.
Yeah, dude. Wow.
Your cards are like, I don't think there's better collector art, original art trading cards out there.
Yeah, the quality is second to none.
It's insane.
No.
Yeah. And Todd doesn't mess around, you guys. He doesn't mess around. Well, I want to plug my channel. What I'm doing now is I'm going back and I'm drawing and inking on my show. I started doing that years and years ago, so I'm back. And yesterday and today I did draw streams. So I want to show you what I inked up yesterday and today, and just to try to tease you guys going back in my history and watching the videos and giving it a like. And if you haven't subbed to this channel, please do so. So this is Kit Carter. This is Aaron Lopresti's character. This is a commission. And so I just thought I would bring it together on live streams. And that's what I did. And it is done now. And So it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like two birds with one stone. You get to connect with people, hang out, and you get to get work done, which is a good combination. So here it is, you guys. I may be with Oodles of Doodles. I may open up another commission just because I had a lot of fun with this one. So I may open up another 11 by 17. You guys ask me all the time, how do I get a commission? When can I get a commission? All those. And I always feel bad saying, well, I got black and white I got to do. I got to finish this other stuff first. But I may be doing that soon. So stay alert. Follow me on social media. And when the time comes, I will let you know. And we can, get some commissions going and get them out to you. This is the
oh wow,
the inks. I don't know if you can.
Oh,
that's
dude.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Dude, I saw you working on that, man. That was hypnotic.
yeah. God,
Oh, wow.
that's gorgeous art.
Jesus Christ. Look at that.
So it's all done now. So whoever commissioned me to do it, you're going to get that thing sent to you pretty soon, along with your Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too book. And I do thank everybody. I mean this from the heart. We cannot do this without you. You're the only reason we're able to do this, and it's no bullshit. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. All these guys, I know they feel exactly the same way. So thanks you guys for watching our crazy videos. Listen to us get all heated about diamond distribution and craziness that is this wacky comic book industry, and all the cool books that we have for you that came out 2024, but also that will continue to put out in 2025. I know Clint's got a couple things. I think Todd's going to be putting out a book, and I know that Rob's going to have Death Raider 2 that you guys have to look forward to. So, thanks again, you guys, and we'll see you next week on Pontificators.